welcome to the I Talk, You Talk, We Talk Sports podcast. This is Joe Harris, your host, and of course, I have with me two of our guest hosts, Jeff. Say what's up to the crowd, the people.
What's happening, everybody?
And then we have Kai. Say what's up to everybody. We get his face here soon.
Hello. Sorry.
All right, fellas. How you guys doing today?
All right. Tuesday.
Doing all right, man.
All
Good
right.
first
So,
weekend.
yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and kick off right where we started where we ended last week. We have the AL East and NL East that we're going to talk about, and then we'll go through some quick takes as well. Just before I get going, I want to go ahead and shout out our other two co-hosts that aren't with us today, Andrew Roberts and Andy Myers. And of course, if you guys are looking to check us out, you can all find us on our pages at IU We Talk Sports and also at Black Gamut ENT. You'll see that rolling across the ticker here on the bottom, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like I said, just to continue where we left off last week, the American League East, clearly the Tampa Bay Rays, New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays, Baltimore Orioles, and the Boston Red Sox. I did the same thing, so I said in my order is the way that they finished last season. Let's just go ahead and kick it off with you, Jeff. You're the guy directly to my right in the video. What do you see from the AL East? Who you have winning, final rankings? What you got for us?
All right. Well, there's some exciting things going on in Toronto. Tampa Bay, they just keep overproducing. I think they're better than they should be for some reason, whether it's coaching, the idea, the way they use their pitching staff, however it might be. They always seem to do better than it looks like they should on paper. But I think this is a big year. I think that with any kind of health plus history, I think this is still the Yankees division. If Judge and Stanton remain 85% healthy, you got LeMahieu playing the best he's played in his entire career. Aaron Hicks, Luke Vaught. You have a really good core of hitters. Garrett Cole, arguably the third best pitcher in baseball. Questionable behind him, Kluber, James Taillon, but you still have Chapman closing it out. As far as this division goes, I put the Yankees on top. Tampa Bay and Toronto, I think, are going to be battling out for second place and possibly a wild card. I mean, the Rays have some pretty good young players. Arozarena, 10 home runs last year in the postseason. Wiley Adams, Brandon Lowe, and this kid, Mike Brousseau. They have a lot of nice young players. There's not much going on in the pitching staff, but like we said, the organization seems to figure ways to get the best out of those guys. And there's not going to be any names that really stand out there, but they're going to find a way. Toronto's the interesting one. They're going to be the fun ones. Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio. These are like the kind of the face of the major leagues, going along with Tatis as far as the age and these guys that play. Teoscar Hernandez and George Springer. I mean, their offense is formidable as any in that division. They just don't have a lot of pitching. You got Hyun-Jin Ryu, an up-and-comer Nate Pearson, Tanner Rourke, Robbie Ray, who used to be a beast, but he's been questionable. I just see them competing with the Rays for second. So Yankees, Rays, and Toronto looking for second in the division, but playing for a wild card this year. Boston and Baltimore will be battling out for the bottom. I mean, there's some nice young players on Baltimore, Cedric Mullins, Mountcastle, Anthony Santander. These are pretty good guys that are coming up, but when your most notable pitcher is Felix Hernandez, you probably have issues as far as competing for any kind of run to the playoffs. In Boston,
King Felix is now?
Yeah, what's that?
Is that where King Felix is now?
Yeah.
Baltimore?
And then Boston, I mean, their lineup is formidable. There's no denying that. Xander Bogaerts, Devers, Betts, JD Martinez, up-and-comer Alex Verdugo. I mean,
Betts?
he's got – yeah, sorry.
Yeah, let's make a bet he's not on that team anymore.
Yeah, well, Bogaerts, Devers, Martinez, Verdugo. We're looking at the wrong page.
LA Dodgers put a billboard up in Boston that said "Thank you" for Mookie Betts.
Well, Chris Sale's not going to do anything this year, and Boston's pitching staff is more than questionable. So, as far as the division goes, I think the Yankees pull it out. Toronto, Tampa Bay vie for a wild card position in the American League, and Boston and Baltimore fight it out for the bottom. But I think it's the Yankees. Hate to admit it, but it is what it is.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and lead that over to the Yankees fan over here. Let him, he probably doesn't have much to follow up on with that.
Well, Jeff said everything probably I was going to say. I mean, great minds think alike. And I completely see the exact order he put it in. You can flip-flop 2 and 3, and you can flip-flop 4 and 5. I mean, I think the Red Sox have a little bit better quality, I guess, than Baltimore. But Baltimore's up and coming. Let's hope they get good again. Watching that stadium empty really sucks, but I guess we're going to have to do that this year anyway. But, yeah, Yankees all the way. I don't think either of those other two teams, Red Sox or Tampa Bay, even though they've been great, Tampa Bay's just in and out great. They somehow just get these up-and-coming players that produce year in and year out. Their pitching's hurting. Homeboy left to San Diego. His name doesn't come to my mind.
No,
Blake Snell.
The dirt player.
Snell.
Oh, you're talking about pitching? Oh.
Yeah, Snell went to the Padres, I believe. So their pitching's not going to be as good this year, and the Yankees just top to bottom. Like, if there's first base open, there's runners on second and third, half those dudes are getting walked to load the bases every time. I mean, I guess in baseball, most of the times you'll do that anyway. But like, who do you pitch to with that lineup? I mean, I love it, and like I said, man, I don't see any team coming within 10 games of the Yankees this year.
All right, Boston fan.
Yeah, what you get? Besides LeBron bought 2% of the team.
Well, that's where all the promise actually begins. You know, everybody's going to want to go there now that LeBron has a piece of it. And my hat, by the way, still, I mean, I'll go ahead and turn it for you guys if you guys need it, but still has the most recent World Series title in there, so you guys can keep laughing to the bank with that one. But anyway, I have 2 words for you guys. Bobby Dalbec. You guys probably don't really know about him because you guys keep sleeping, but I bet you guys are gonna reap the day that you guys didn't have him on your roster when our fantasy baseball season starts. And he's just smacking home runs all over everyone. He's leading the league right now, and I know it's spring training, but people don't hit home runs this early. I bet you guys would love to see your players on your team leading the spring training and home runs. You know who he's tied with, by the way? Michael Chavis, another Boston Red Sox. It looks like we're coming out of the gate swinging heavy already. Alex Cora is out there. He's probably cheating or something. I don't care. As long as it wins the World Series, I don't care. I really don't. We're 5th best team in spring training right now, 3rd best in the grapefruit. Yeah, we're like a half a game or whatever behind the Yankees. Who cares? You guys are talking about our pitchers. We got Garrett Richards. He's serviceable. Eduardo Rodriguez. He's serviceable. Nathan Eovaldi. You guys remember World Series hero Nathan Eovaldi? He's serviceable. Martin Perez. We have guys out there. We have pitchers in our bullpen now. Thanks to you, actually, the Yankees fan over here. You guys traded Adam Ottavino. Like, we have him. He hasn't given up a run yet in four games. Like Matt Barnes, he's been with us the whole time. Hasn't given up a run in 4 games. You know, everyone's sleeping on us. And then when Chris Sale comes back, yeah, he's not going to do anything this year. Wait and see. Because when they come back from Tommy John surgery, for whatever reason, it always seems like they just played better. Probably because whoever does those surgeries now is just a genius. We still have Xander. We still have Devers. We still have JD Martinez. Yes, I still wish we had Mookie Betts, but we don't. Jeff, thank you. We got Hunter Renfroe, not the wide receiver from Oakland. or Las Vegas, whatever you want to call it, but the other Hunter Renfroe. He's really good too. Marvin Gonzalez. Look, I'm not saying that we're going to win this division. I am saying the Yankees aren't going to win it, though. Fuck those guys. I'm putting us ahead of them. Give me Tampa, Boston, Yankees, Toronto, Baltimore. And that's it.
Wow. You writing that down, right? You writing that down?
It was written down before the show started, Jeff.
Better be. That's
Some good painkillers you got, man.
Yeah, you guys
I might want one.
keep sleeping on Boston. Don't worry about where you guys' trash teams are. You guys already got hurt players all over your squad over in New York. Got like 3 or 4 guys that aren't even coming back until July.
Just because our guys sell meth and Oxycontin doesn't mean we're not going to compete for the World Series.
Oh man, you guys got to worry more about some baseball. All right. Anyway, no. So it should be a pretty good season, though. I really, really like where Boston's headed. Alex Cora being back, I think, is the biggest deal. If you take one season to suck and you make it last season, wouldn't you say that would be the best season? Unfortunately, the way that everything was with COVID, no one really even realized how bad we were. We pretty much got away with a quick rebuild year where we made a bunch of trades and boosted up our farm system, put ourselves in a better position. We got a lot of depth on that team. So wild card, that's a definite expectation.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. And a chance at the division.
I don't see why not. A lot of that rides on Chris Sale being back. The starting pitching is where we seem to struggle. But I will tell you that a lot of those names I named, very, very serviceable pitchers. And our bullpen was actually not as bad as people thought last year. So if we could get a legitimate ace out there, it'd be very different. Right now, though, I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez, to be honest, didn't even pitch last year. He had the issue with COVID that led to, I think it was like a heart condition or something that kept him out. Yeah. So, I mean, our ace last year was Nathan Eovaldi. I mean, you give us Eduardo Rodriguez back, Chris Sale comes back, hopefully no later in July, something along the lines of, then I don't see any reason why we can't compete. What really made us bad last year, it was our pitching.
Still bad.
Yeah. I'll take money that they don't win the division. If you want to bet on that.
Well, Jeff asked me. So you're saying they have a chance at winning the division?
Oh, so you're not confident? Gotcha.
No, I said no. What did I start off with? I said wild card expectations.
I just made you an offer to make a bet, man. You don't take it personal.
No, I mean, hey, I'll go ahead and make a bet with you. You lost the last one, didn't you? New York Giants. Is that what you lost that? Yeah.
I blame the Eagles on that still.
Yeah, you blame everybody else when the Yankees don't win the division. All right, NL East. Atlanta Braves, Miami Marlins, Philadelphia Phillies, New York Mets, Kai's first favorite team, and then Washington Nationals. If it doesn't rhyme with X, it doesn't work. Same order, Jeff. What do you think? How do you think the NL East is going to shake out?
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but it looks to be shaking out New York, as far as East divisions go. I mean, the Mets, you got Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso. After the sophomore slump, he's still going to hit a lot of home runs. You got some good young guys, Dominic Smith, Jeff McNeil, J.D. Davis. And then you have the best pitcher in baseball, DeGrom, and a couple good arms behind him. Carlos Carrasco's healthy. Stroman, Lugo. We'll see about Syndergaard, but two of the better closers in baseball. I see the Mets winning this division relatively easily. Atlanta and Philly, I think, are going to be scrapping for second. And, I mean, Albies, Acuna Jr. is probably, he's arguably one of the top 3 players in baseball. And Freddie Freeman, if he keeps hitting, I don't know how he does. I hate that guy. I've never picked him, and every year I say he's not going to do it, and every year he does.
Wait, how do you hate Freddie Freeman?
because he
Or is that
just,
just from a fantasy aspect?
yeah, he shouldn't be as good as he is. He just
He's a hell of a guy
like he
and a
can hit
ball
the
player.
ball so well. And Albie's coming back. Austin Riley, I don't know if you guys remember when he came up last year, he hit like 10 home runs in his first 14 games or something stupid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was sick. So the offense is there. They got some other guys. Lewis Brinson, they brought him up last year. He didn't produce that well, but that's for I'm sorry, not on Atlanta. But Ozuna, Albies, Freeman should be good enough for the offense. They're pitching Max Fried, Morton, Anderson. It's a little shaky, but I find Atlanta doing something to win games. And Philly with Harper, Hoskins, JT Realmuto, and a decent pitching staff. I think those two guys are going to battle it out for second place. Miami, I know they were hot last year, and they were the sexy team and all that, and they do really have some young players. But
Who did they beat in the playoffs, Jeff? Do you remember?
no.
I'm sure you
No.
don't.
I think it was Mets.
Oh, but it was the Chicago White? No, Chicago Cubs.
Oh, it's something like Back to the Future predicted way back in the day. But anyway, Miami, they do have some nice young guys, but I don't think they have enough this year. I think they're going to bring up the bottom of the division. And Washington, they're questionable. Juan Soto's one of the biggest studs in baseball. Schwartz and Bell, they're questions. Trey Turner's a good player, but Scherzer has to stay healthy. Strasburg has to stay healthy. And they might put it in there, but I see the division Mets, Atlanta and Philly running for second, Nationals and Marlins bringing up the bottom, and most likely the Marlins. I don't see that much changing. It was exciting for 60 games, but I don't think they have enough of a roster to make a run for a whole season. Not in that division.
Again, I agree with Jeff pretty much on this one. I don't think it's going to be a runaway for the Mets. I think all these teams are really close as far as wins and losses. I see them 92 wins, probably wins this division, and I think second and third are going to be in the mid to high 80s, and fourth is not going to be far behind them, I think. Unfortunately, Florida, I think they were a little bit of a flash in the pan last year, and I think most of these teams, they're going to be, the team that's getting beat on by the rest of these guys. And, I mean, they each play each other 19 times. I could see each team going 10-9 against each other besides the Marlins. So, as I do think the Mets will win, I don't think it's a runaway by any means. You could hand me 4 dice, and it'd be a Yahtzee shoot for me, a crapshoot. I couldn't tell you. I do think the Mets will win, but it's going to be a squeaker. It's going to be, I think this is probably the best division in baseball, I think, from top to bottom. So I'm excited to watch this division. I really am. But yeah, Mets will win it close. And Florida's at the bottom. The middle 3, you can flip them any which way you want. I couldn't tell you. I think it's quality division though.
Yeah, I agree. I think that probably is one of the most competitive divisions in baseball. I don't really have much to change from what you guys said. The talent that the Mets added this year, that's who I have winning the division as well. Atlanta, I believe, is still going to be pretty solid. If I had to go anything, I think I would just put the Mets up from where they were last year. The Marlins down at the bottom, and then the middle 3, I would just kind of keep in the order that they are. So Atlanta, Philly, and Washington. So that's about where I stand on that. Really quick.
Oh, can I add real quick?
No.
All right, I will not add then. No, the Mets got Frankie Lindor, and as much as Indians fans hate to see it, if he was fun to watch, and I would still like to watch him. So unfortunately, I think a lot of Indians fans might be just a little bit of a Mets fan this year too. So I don't know. I think it might play out that way.
That's not how that works.
I mean, I know he's not LeBron James, man, but
he didn't even
dude,
have a poster.
They're not burning Lindor jerseys. That's cool, though.
yeah. See, and he's Mr. Smiley, dude. Everybody loves him.
I think he's going to have his best season as a pro this year. I really do. Change of scenery, yeah, big contract, all the questions that happened over the year. I think Lindor's going to have his best year.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, give me your order again.
Well, I had Mets. Hold on, let me get it. But yeah, I had Mets, Atlanta and Philly, and the Nets and Miami. Like I said, Atlanta and Philly are going to be fighting for that second spot, and I think the Nats and Marlins will be fighting for that bottom spot.
And then what was your AL? You had Yankees, and I kind of cut you off.
Oh, yeah? Well, hey. Yeah, I had Yankees and Toronto and Tampa Bay running for second place and the wild card in the American League. And then Boston and Baltimore battling for the bottom.
And then, Kai, what were your picks again? Yeah, just give me both. Give me both. I probably
The East was
Ditto.
Mets first, and then Atlanta. And Miami's last. I'll say Nationals second. Atlanta second, Washington third, Philly last or fourth. I couldn't tell you, man. It's a coin flip, a three-headed coin.
All right, well, we're going with whichever one I just wrote down. So
I'd like to see a three-headed
Fine by
coin.
me.
You got a three-headed coin? I want to see it.
Probably a die, though, right? Can you make a three-headed side die? No, it has to be at least four sides.
All right. I got those down. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and just jump over our quick takes. This one will actually be a rather quick show. So on the quick takes here, the main ones I'm going to bring up are going to be the NCAA tournament. Clearly, that's in the mix right now. There's a lot going on, but we're going to start off really quickly with NFL free agency. Just let me know what you guys is. Obviously, we went over this last week, but since last week, the biggest pick that you guys saw pick up or acquisition, not release or not retirement or whatever.
You didn't like that one?
Let's go ahead and start with you again, Jeff, on this one. What's your biggest NFL free agency move since last week?
I don't know what the fuck's going on and why Andy Dalton is going to be my starting quarterback next year. I have no idea what's going on here. I thought we were in a good position. We might have got Russ Wilson, and we might be talking about Super Bowl, and now we're talking about Andy Dalton. So I'm done with free agency. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Oh, fair enough. But I mean, Andy Dalton's not all that bad, man. I mean, he's probably better than Mitchell Trubisky, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm going to leave.
Clearly, free agency isn't Jeff's best friend right now.
No, we've got some pretty good players, and we brought in Andy Dalton. I'm so happy.
At least you guys franchise tagged Allen Robinson.
Yeah, and make him the unhappiest receiver in the NFL.
Oh man.
Should be plenty of touches for David Montgomery. All right, Kai. Well, I mean, I believe you got some pretty decent news over the past few days with your team, but I don't know if that's going to be your biggest take or not. What you got for free agency?
Hey, man, we got, I would say, top 10 receiver in the league. What his name is?
Kenny Galladay.
Yes, I'm sorry, man. And we also got number 2 corner, and if I say his name wrong, that's Adoree Jackson, man. I think we got some good pieces picked up here, man. I think Daniel Jones, this might be his last year to prove he's got something, man.
You want Dalton?
No. nor would I like Trubisky. So he's going to be a good backup up there in Buffalo. So that's cool. At least he'll, when Buffalo wins the division in Week 15, he'll get to play some games, and you'll get to watch him, Jeff. But I think with Saquon coming back, I'm ready for the Giants football season to go. That division was super weak last year. So yeah, man, we got a number 1 receiver. We still got Shepard. He's still pretty good. And we did get a tight end, Shiza. What's his name from? Man, I can't remember right now. Oh no, Kyle Rudolph from the Vikings. So
we got Kyle Rudolph.
We got a receiver that can run fast and not catch the ball, and now we have a tight end receiver
as old as me
that can catch the ball and is very slow. So we mix those guys in there, and you don't know who you got to cover. It's pretty slick, Good idea. But yeah, man, I'm kind of happy for football to come. I know it's a while away, but we got the draft up at Cleveland. So excitement in Cleveland as well as in New York for the football Giants.
I think I will be trying to visit that draft, by the way, see how that all goes with COVID regulations. But the piggyback off of what you were saying, actually, I think the Giants' moves are very, very huge. I was talking to Drew about that yesterday. The addition of Adoree Jackson actually shores up a defense that was playing very well last year. I think the addition of Kyle Rudolph is probably more so to help out with blocking. Evan Ingram's going to be your route runner for the most part. A lot of your season is going to rely on the one thing that just hasn't been stable, and that's the health of Saquon Barkley. I think if he can actually stay healthy and stay on the field, I think that they will have a very formidable offense. And honestly, it's going to be needed because I do think with Dak Prescott going back out on the field and everyone pretty much staying tight there, that team is going to be very, very hard to compete with. And then let's see what Jalen Hurts does. Right. And honestly, probably shouldn't discount Washington yet. It's still hard for me to, I really wanted to say the old name, but football team, I can't say Washington football team, so it's like WFT or just call them by Washington.
DC.
Yeah, is that even acceptable? I feel like somehow that's what they said.
The district.
So, but yeah, they brought in
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick. That's a big deal for them, and they brought in Curtis Samuel, I believe it was, from Carolina.
Yeah,
they still have McLaurin. Yeah.
I mean,
they're a nice running back.
And they won the division, and I really think Taylor Heineke, man, I hope he wins the starting role there. I saw him play at ODU. ODU is a school back in Virginia, Norfolk, and they have had football maybe 15, 20 years now, and he played there, and I watched him play, and man, I think he threw 400-something yards that game. It was awesome. He's fun to watch, and he plays for the Redskins, so I don't want him to do too well, but I would like to see him win that starting job and get a shot.
Absolutely. What's funny is, I'm gonna go ahead and jump to my team because I clearly want to talk about them. But I was going to say that was probably the biggest signing I saw was the Kenny Galladay signing. But since last week, New England still stayed on the spree. So I think by the time we actually recorded the show, it was just Jonnu Smith. But since then, it's also been, God, I don't know where the list starts and begins. Probably somewhere with Hunter Henry and just everyone else. Everything about what New England is doing right now is just it's going to make for a pretty interesting season. Cam Newton, I'm not 100% sure he's going to be our starting quarterback. Realistically, he's on a one-year deal, more of a prove-it deal, which he deserves from not getting that training camp or whatnot, but and still finishing 7-7. But the offense is going to look a lot different. They're making a lot of plans, a lot of moves, a lot on defense, and they still could trade for someone. I mean, they still have cap. They actually, I was reading an article where the way they structured these deals, they still have $40 million left to spend. So they could, at that time, still pull off trading for Deshaun Watson and still have the money to go out and get another big receiver. Of course, they probably trade some of the players they acquired or whatnot. But now with the whole Deshaun Watson sexual accusation lawsuits going on and everything, I don't think that he's going to move at all, whether he even play football this year or ever again.
He won't go to the Patriots, that's for sure. They don't.
Yeah. And this is probably for a different conversation, but to me, it's just funky timing on the whole entire thing. It almost just seems like Houston, the organization, might have something to do with it, especially since the lawyer that's deeply involved is like, I think it's like the owner's next door neighbor. It's very, very odd. Very odd, but yeah, something definitely happened there. So, whatever.
Or D-Watt's just a bad dude.
Yeah, that could be too. I don't know if you guys read the article or not that came out with, kind of detailing the situation. It doesn't give any of the names of the victims, but it seems very consistent. And usually in these matters, like when it's like, I don't know, when they line up like that, this is like a habit that he might have.
When you have an MO.
Maybe he legitimately actually goes to massage parlors and just expects them to give him the happy ending. It's like, hey, this is part of what I'm paying you for, and I'm also
that's
an NFL
why you
player.
go to a massage parlor, dude.
Yeah.
What aren't you getting?
I mean, maybe he's trying to get traded to New England because he
Rob Kraft turned him on to it, man. Rob Kraft turned him on to it.
I told you to go to these ones.
So that's my girl right there.
Yeah, it's a little rough right now, but I don't know. They could still land someone. Like I see San Francisco actually hosting a lot of quarterback and stuff right now. So there's a possibility that they still may move on from Jimmy. So maybe Jimmy does end up in New England, and that was Belichick's thought the whole entire time, loading up the offense.
Do you think that's an upgrade? Do you think that's an upgrade?
Cam Newton?
From Cam Newton, yes, and not because of the way that Cam Newton played last year, because I give Cam Newton all of the benefit of the doubt because I know what we had on the field as a product and whole. But Jimmy Garoppolo seemed to fit our offense really well when he was there. The problem being Tom Brady was still playing at an elite level, still is playing at an elite level. I don't think that New England could have went wrong with that decision whatsoever. I mean, Tom clearly won another one, almost made it to a second.
I think Cam's their guy. I think that this was the year that it's look, you had to figure out how the fuck you're going to run your team without Tom Brady. And they struggled at times trying to figure out exactly what they were going to do. But it looks to me, from all the free agent signings and the moves that they've made so far this offseason, they're trying to figure out how to make it work with Cam Newton. And I think Cam Newton is their guy next year, and I think he gives them a really good chance. That's why they brought in Smith and Henry and all these other guys. And I think that Cam is their guy. I don't think they're looking for Garoppolo, man.
If it was their guy, they would have signed him for more than a year. I mean, that's the thing about it.
I don't know. Sometimes that's the best way to get your numbers. Sign him for 1 year.
Yeah, right? It's usually with an option of a sort, but this is like an all-out 1 year deal. It's just like this is one of those deals where, like, I don't expect this to be the case, but I've seen New England sign players to this type of deals before, and they don't even make the opening day roster. Like he could be released. So it's more of just I think the signing of Cam Newton is to tell everyone, because the quarterback market, once the Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford trade happened, just went through the roof. Everyone's sitting here like, we want 3 firsts and this, that, and the other. I think this was New England's way of saying, look, we're not here to play ball. We will go into this season with Cam Newton with no hesitation whatsoever.
And we'll make it work.
For a quarterback. Yeah. They're just letting every team out there know, like, we're not gonna play the games with it. We're gonna acquire about these players, but the moment that you start talking crazy, then we're just gonna go ahead and move on. So
I think New England will be all right. I do. I don't like them, but I think
Yeah.
they'll be all right.
7-7, and I mean, like I believe we talked about it last year. It's closer to the end of the season when we were discussing some of the finishes. I mean, they at least had 4 games where they lost like game-winning drives. They had the game against Seattle where they lost on the 1-yard line. Cam just couldn't get it over. They had the game against Buffalo that they should have won, but Cam fumbled. Trying to make a hero play, for whatever reason when all they needed was
That's
a
2
field
games.
goal.
That's
Yeah.
2 games right there.
I mean, we're very, very close to being,
That's why
having
Cam's
the
the
difference
guy.
between 7-7, having 7 wins and having 10 wins. And we were down a lot of players, including Julian Edelman, and not having receivers and whatnot. So
A bunch of defensive guys.
a lot of defensive guys.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that should be the NFL season so far away. A lot of moves still to be made. I think draft day is going to be interesting. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that as it gets closer. Now we have the NCAA tournament, men's basketball tournament, I should say. Not that I want to disrespect the women, the way that the
NCAA.
yeah, but when I saw the photos of those workout rooms, I was like, oh man, that was bad. Like the difference of facilities, it's a joke.
Are you really surprised though? It's kind of always been that way.
I am, but I'm not. You'd think after like the conversations kind of took place last year that they'd be a little bit smarter than that. Like they would not consider that this is going to be something that's going to get brought up, and clearly they weren't. I mean, you're not even hosting at multiple stadiums anymore. So it's just like I don't get it. You had equipment for how many places before, so why does it look? Who knows? But yeah, they definitely dropped the ball on that. Nonetheless, the tournament itself has been very, very interesting so far. I'd say a lot of what we expected and a lot of what we have not expected, because there's been upsets already that have been shocking. What would you say was probably the biggest upsets or takeaways? Or, I mean, honestly, let's talk to me about what you think about the tournament so far. Start with you, Jeff.
Well, the biggest takeaway, honestly, is Oral Roberts, right? I mean, these guys knock out Ohio State, and then now they're sitting in the Sweet 16, and they shouldn't have even been around. But other than that, I think the big takeaway is that they gave the Big Ten all the big nuts this year, and they've squandered them all away. I mean, this is multiple years in a row now that like the Big Ten has had the most respect from the tournament committee, and they keep blowing it. And these teams, I don't know if the Big Ten is just not as good, or if they just beat each other up all year. I just don't know what it is about the Big Ten. But as far as this year's tournament goes, yeah, Oral Roberts has been the big surprise. And then Sister Jean, I mean, like I posted on our page, there's got to be something going on there. Because seriously, Final Four 2 years ago, now they're in the Sweet 16. They beat big teams. They beat ranked teams. They don't have any super studs on their squad. But as far as the overall tournament goes, I know that everyone's super shocked because Vegas won all the money this weekend, because of all the underdogs. I think the underdogs were 29-22, which is unheard of. That's never happened before in the history of the tournament as far as gambling and betting on lines and stuff. The unders have been 27-21 or something silly, and it's everyone's acting like they didn't know this was going to happen. But if there was going to be any tournament where the crazy shit happened, I think that it would be this year, right? We got the bubble, we got all this stuff going on. So really, if you were a truly into it gambling person on NCAA basketball, you probably are making money right now. So it seems odd that there's so many double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16. There's so many upsets so far, but if you'd really thought about it before it started, this was the year that you should have bet that this was going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Especially, I mean, they didn't even have a tournament last year, so
Right.
you know, it's a little bit of a, I don't know. I wouldn't say a trial run, but these guys are playing a little bit more inspired. Not that 1 year to the next isn't a big jump, a big span of time, but still, it's been 2 years since these guys have been able to show out. Some of these guys are in it for the first time. They know all eyes are on them right now, so it's like that added motivation for the underdogs that normally, they're looking for anyway.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but you just made me think of something. Look, all these big programs, Kansas, Kentucky, all these Duke and North Carolina, you get a bunch of these kids that are one and done. And now we missed a whole year's worth of a tournament. And so now these teams that are the 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 seeds, these are the kids that are the programs that are full of seniors that have been playing. You know what I mean? These aren't the guys that are primed for the NBA. And so they stay at their program, and now we're back to what it used to be. And when you have a bunch of 4-year seniors, 5th-year seniors on your team, you have a good chance to go deeper in the tournament. And I think that's playing out a little bit this year, that some of the experience from the older guys at the schools, that they're not specifically trying to go straight to the NBA. They're just trying to go and play college basketball. And now you're talking about Winthrop and North Texas, and they're full of seniors, and they're full of 5th-year seniors, and they're full of, you know what I mean? So this was the year where that's kind of going to be where it plays out. And that went away for a really long time when Kentucky was winning every year and Kansas was winning every year with these one-and-done guys. And this year's tournament, that's why it's exciting, because it's full of stories. You're watching these games, and North Texas has never won one, and they win one. It's exciting to watch. To watch OU win in the first round, that's exciting. You know what I mean? And so that's why this year's tournament's been I think, the best one that we've seen in a decade.
Okay.
I've got to be honest with you guys. I told you I went to the Final Four down in Houston a long time ago, and it was the worst final ever in an NCAA final. So I've watched absolutely more than 3 minutes, but less than 5 minutes of NCAA basketball. I've heard of all the upsets. I honestly did a few brackets, and they were all free. I had no idea who was going to be good. I was rooting for a few teams, all of which have already lost. And it doesn't make me happy that Michigan's still in there and a few other teams. But I can honestly say that, my experience with the NCAA basketball is getting slimmer and slimmer year to year. But I think it's going to be Baylor. We're going to go Baylor, Houston in the Final Four with Gonzaga, and I think Oregon. Oregon's going to make some noise, guys.
Oregon, huh? I feel like you just looked at a list and you're like, I'm just going to pick these teams because of the season. But it could be right, because that's how the season, that's how this tournament has been so far. So it could be right. There was one person in the brackets that me and Andy did that picked, was it Abilene Christian? Is that it? Yeah.
Abilene Christian College.
Yeah, that kind of screwed me over a little bit because I had Texas in there. I've had plenty of upsets that have kind of harmed my bracket, but I'm actually happy to say that for whatever reason, for the first time since I've ever been doing these, I'm sure that I should probably be knocking on some type of wood or something that I don't have around because I'm probably going to ruin it. I am pretty well favored. I'm actually sitting in 5th right now. Both of my brackets are tied for 5th. One has a possible point total of 155, and the other one has a possible point total of 123. All of the people who are listed ahead of me, 1 through 4, all have a very, very much lower possible point total. So I'm looking pretty good as long as something crazy doesn't happen, like Gonzaga lose or Baylor or whatever. But on the one where I have the 155, what sucks is that out of my Final Four, only 2 teams remain because I had Kansas and Ohio State in there. So I've been kind of ruined a little bit by some of these losses, like USC beating Drake and Kansas, which Drake was just my 1 round pick just to try to do right and kill everything. Oral Roberts beating OSU obviously screwed me up. Loyola Chicago beating Illinois in the Battle of Chicago. That was just kind of unexpected. I had them going deep, but luckily not to the 4.
Not really the Battle of Chicago because Illinois is in Champaign. It's about 220 miles away. But
hey, well,
he said Illinois. He said Illinois.
I just say it by Illinois. Yeah, well, hey. Loyola
I just don't want this to turn into a thing.
I don't want anyone thinking that the University of Illinois is in Chicago.
It's Northwestern. Wait, that's not Northwestern.
There is a UIC, actually, a University of Illinois in Chicago. But yeah, it's none of those above. None of the above.
Yeah, so some of these have really kind of messed me up a little bit. I was sitting in first for a couple of days, so I was excited. But like I said, I still have a pretty heavy shot. That's about $700 for first place. So having this high amount of possible points total makes me happy. And then one of my free ESPN brackets, I actually have 93% of my picks there, right? So I was like, of course, it's like the year where I just don't really care whatsoever that I do well. But
usually how it works.
Look, the last time I won an NCAA bracket, I was the only one in this pool that rode Carmelo Anthony to the national championship. So let's date ourselves, boys. I won $2,000 the year that Carmelo took Syracuse to the championship, and I've never won another bracket since.
I need them to lose heavily to Houston because that's one of my teams that I have gone in the other bracket too. So hopefully, if they mess it up, then I'm going to be kind of a little bit screwed up there. So
it'll be a different conversation next show.
It will be a very different conversation next show. So right now, it seems like everyone at least all the teams that are getting upset, looks like everyone else had them going pretty decently far, so that's why it hasn't hurt me as much yet. But we'll see. Like I said, those possible point totals are still staying pretty high, so that's keeping me pretty confident. Yeah, well, like I said, that's it. It was a pretty short show today as far as quick takes and everything else. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump through with our final thoughts. Let's go ahead and go with you, Jeff.
Hey, we got like 9 days before opening day, and I know I've watched more college basketball, like you said, Kai. You haven't, and I haven't really over the past couple of years either. But I do like tournament time. But my favorite meme, I guess you could call it, is this guy had a bracket on the thing, and it just had it all crossed out, and he wrote the word baseball. So I can't wait for opening day. And look, I'm rooting for the Indians. Don't think it's going to happen. And I'm rooting for the Cubs. Not sure it's going to happen, but I can't wait for baseball. I feel more normal now about sports than I have in 2 years. And baseball is the reason. And hopefully everything works out and we get to see a nice full season of good baseball.
Absolutely. Kai, final thoughts.
As excited as I am for baseball coming up, and I'll be probably watching that first Sunday all day, and most of Monday as well. But we got the World Cup qualifications coming up. Germany's actually on TV Thursday afternoon, 3:45 ESPN2, The Deuce. Check them out. They play Iceland. It's going to be great. I predict Germany wins 4-1. And we still got some really good Champions League going on. So soccer's still, for me, number one, always will be. But baseball, I'm very much looking forward to it. I believe I have an in for one of the Yankees-Indians games, so I'm really excited to at least see one game this year, if not plenty. But, yeah, baseball and soccer's on all the time, guys.
All the time. All right. Well, I don't have anything other than just my Red Sox take, man. You guys just wait for us. That's all I'm saying. We're going to be a lot better than you guys think. Can't wait for the season to get going. Just something else that shit. This time last year, we were out of sports. Like we didn't know what was going on. Now we're like, oh, football just ended. We're talking free agency. We got the NCAA tournament. We got baseball about to start up for real this time, and not like just like. So yeah, I mean, it's just an exciting time. So I appreciative that we've made it this far. Hopefully, we're coming out of this thing still, and yeah, we can't wait for everything to get started. So everybody, make sure you join us next week. We'll be back to talk the final two divisions of baseball, the AL and NL. Which ones did we not talk? West. So the AL, NL West. Probably another wrap here on the tournament, some other topics here, and then other than that, thank you for joining us. Remember that you can follow us there, right there down at the bottom, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IU We Talk Sports and Black Gamut ENT. And then until next time, say good night, fellas.
Stay safe.
Peace. See you guys.
Night.